Good evening and welcome to the February 21st Council meeting. If you'd please stand, Councilperson Comstock is going to lead us in the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. We have a special recognition this evening. It's the recognition of the 2022 Chino Youth Boxing Foundation Award winners. Tonight we celebrate the achievements of the Chino Youth Boxing Foundation's Boxers of the Month for 2022. These boxers have worked hard and shown incredible dedication to the sport of boxing. First, I'd like to call up the folks that work hard behind the scenes as part of our Chino Youth Boxing Foundation. I'd like to call up Chino Boxing Club coach Abraham Ortega, Chino Boxing Foundation President Mike Garcia, and Vice President Ray Morales. Ray's slow tonight. He's tired. Now, without further ado, let's introduce the 2022 Boxers of the Month. First, we have Louis Happy Cruz. Congratulations. And why do they call you Happy?
Because I smile all the time.
Smile all the time? Good guy. Stay up here. Stay up here, sir. For February, we have Boxer of the Month, Johnny Cerna. Johnny? Congratulations. Okay, the March Boxer of the Month is not here today, but it was Jose Juarez. Let's give him a hand anyway. For April, we have Jonathan Torres. He was Boxer of the Month in 2019 also. Of the year, Boxer of the Year. Okay, another one that is not here is Yari Matamor. Yes, that's it. Let's give him a hand. For June, we have Jess Paul Rodriguez Jr. Another missing boxer, but for July is Aiden Martinez. And his brother for August is Abel Martinez. For September, we have Brian Lopez. For October, we have Uriel Padilla. For November, Isaac Valentin. Congratulations. And for December, Alyssa Farias. Congratulations. Okay, now we have Boxer of the Year for 2022. It's Jonathan Torres.
Just want to thank you guys for having us. This group right here, it's a group of young kids that works very, very hard. So we always like to keep them motivated. So we started giving this awards, and it's been working great. And I want to congratulate Jonathan again for being the Boxer of the Year for the second time. And here's Mr. Mike.
Yes, we have a good club, good organization, good officers of the board, great staff that work with us. So everything's great with our boxing club.
I just want to congratulate these young kids right here. They work hard. It's not just about boxing. So I know Coach Abraham takes that into consideration when he rewards these kids. So also I want to thank the council people for the generous donation. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I want to congratulate you all again. What you've done is very, very remarkable. Congratulations to the coaches and the board. But I also want to thank and congratulate the parents. It's really, really important that you support your kids. It's so very important. And I know you also reach out to kids that maybe are not able to have parent participation because it is so very important. So thank you very much for helping the youth of our community. Now have them all gather around because she's going to get a really nice picture. Gather around so that they can fit you all in. Can you get them all in? Congratulations again. Thank you, Abraham. We had a closed session prior to starting the council meeting. I'd like to ask our city attorney to report out of that meeting.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and all of those present. The city council met in closed session as announced by the mayor and held a discussion on the single item listed on the closed session agenda, namely conference with legal counsel, one item of anticipated litigation under the heading initiation of litigation. City council received that update, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. City Manager Wright, do we have any agenda additions or revisions?
No changes, Mayor.
Okay. Under information, we have our economic development report for February. I encourage you all to access it through our website and read that. Under public announcements, first, come on out to the Derriere 5K and Fun Run at Ayala Park, located at 14225 Central Avenue near the batting cages on Saturday, March 4th. The Kids Fun Run will begin at 8 o'clock and the 5K run will begin at 8:15. Registration is available at runsignup.com, and anyone registering on or before February 25th will receive a $5 discount. For more information, please call 909-334-3270. Also, please mark your calendars for Chino Days, happening right here on the City Hall lawn on Saturday, March 18th from noon to 9 p.m. and Saturday, March 19th from 11 to 5 p.m. This is an outstanding event that allows our residents to not only enjoy each other's company with great food and music, but it lets us experience and learn about the many cultures that make up our vibrant community. For more information, please call 909-334-3258. And finally, there is still space available for Healthy Chino's Community Garden Adult Workshop on Saturday, March 18th at the Chino Community Garden, located at 5976 Riverside Drive. This workshop is entitled Flowers and Pollinators and will be held from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. in partnership with Green Chino and the County of San Bernardino Master Gardener Program. For more information, please call 909-334-3478. Next on the agenda is public comment. This is the time and the place for the audience to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda. Our first written request to speak is from Chaplain Keith Roby from the Chino Valley Fire District. Keith is going to lead us in an invocation, so I invite all those who would like to participate to please stand.
Thank you, Mayor. Please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we commit this meeting to you. We thank you, Lord, for the abundant blessings and for all who are gathered here today. Thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. We pray for your continued protection on the residents of our city and the constituents we serve. We pray, Lord, for our mayor and for the various levels of city officials and, in particular, for this assembled council. I'm asking that you would graciously grant them the wisdom to govern with a sense of the welfare and true needs of our city. That you would give them a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence of what is good and God-honoring, and personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before our city council this evening. We desire your glory and blessing in all we do. Direct our thoughts, words, decisions, and actions of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our city. We pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Keith. Next written request to speak is Julia Cabrera from the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julia Cabrera. I'm the Community Engagement Director for the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. I just have one update for everybody. Recently, our chamber staff attended the Western Association of Chamber Executives Conference for Professional Development. Our team brought back a wealth of information that would benefit the Chino Valley business community, along with a variety of awards. And I want to share the context, too. We were, for lack of better words, competing with 800 other chambers on the western side of the U.S. So the first award we won was the honorable mention for video awards, and that was for our video for our program, Upskill Chino Valley. The second award Zeb won was the Chamber Executive of the Year. And he was also officially accredited as an official chamber executive. So he went through a 3-year-long program that the rest of our staff is going through currently to be official accredited chamber executives. The other award that we won was the Outstanding Chamber Program for the year, and that was for Upskill Chino Valley. So that is our workforce, economic, and entrepreneurship and leadership program that we have. So that's our career fairs, our workshops, our student pitch competitions, our student leadership program, our leadership collaborative, our roundtables, essentially all of the programming that we do. So what our team wants to say and what Zeb wants to say is thank you for working with us to do all of this. One of the largest things that we hear from going to these conferences and meeting other chambers is, sometimes it's hard to work with other people and like all these other organizations in our communities, and I want to express how grateful we are for your collaboration. And that goes for also Chino Valley Fire, the Chino Police Department, CVUSD, Chaffee College. So yes, I just want to say thank you on behalf of our staff and on behalf of Zeb. So that's the only update I have for tonight.
Thank you. That's a great update, and congratulations on winning all those awards. Pretty cool. Next written request to speak is Daphne Lezo Duran from Assemblyman Freddie Rodriguez's office.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So I came to read you the Support for Law Enforcement and Public Safety letter written on behalf of Assemblymember Freddie Rodriguez. This is a response to your letter, Mayor. Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for contacting me regarding your support for the Chino Police Department and neighboring law enforcement agencies. I am disheartened and saddened by the murders of the Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, Isaiah Cordero and Darnell Calhoun. I join my colleagues in requesting the California State Assembly adjourn in memory of our fallen deputies to honor their commitment and sacrifices for our communities. As the representative of the 53rd Assembly District, I carefully review legislation and ballot measures that affect the residents of the state of California, including measures that affect the police officers' ability to perform their job effectively and safely while keeping our residents safe. This matter is also personal for me since my son is a deputy sheriff. For these reasons, I regularly call upon members of the legislature to critically analyze the effects of legislation on the safety of our public safety officers. I wholeheartedly agree with you that recent policy changes are passive and short-sighted. I would like to clarify that I was not an elected member of the State Assembly when AB 109, Chapter 15, Statutes of 2011 was approved. Unlike my predecessor, I would have opposed the legislation. That is why I make it a point to hear from all my stakeholders. I had heard from law enforcement departments across the state who have shared similar concerns regarding offenders who quickly cycle through the criminal justice system despite committing crimes. As the legislative session begins, I plan to continue advocating for the safety of our residents, including on behalf of our law enforcement officers. I look forward to working with you and our departments on these important issues. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact Gilbert Ramos, Legislative Director, via email or by phone. Sincerely, Freddie Rodriguez, Assembly Member, District 53, Chair, Assembly Committee on Emergency Management.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah, of course. I would also like to present that we are also looking for a Woman of the Year nomination. So the Woman of the Year nominee should be an integral part of the communities in which they work and have demonstrated a commitment to their community in all aspects of the city they work in. So we are looking for nominees here in the city of Chino. If you have any suggestions, I do have a form that I can send out, and I'll take any nominations. I can provide my email and my contact information for that nominee form.
When's the deadline for the nominations?
The deadline is February 24th, yes. And then I would like to add that they will be honored at his annual summer barbecue. And then the one woman will be chosen as the district's overall Woman of the Year, and they will be honored in Sacramento. So that will also be an incentive.
Thank you
That's
very
all. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are the only written requests to speak that I have. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent calendar. We are going to pull item number 5 for separate action. Do any council members wish to have any items pulled for discussion? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion in a second for the balance of the consent calendar. It's a motion from Councilman Flores, second from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. And the balance of the consent calendar passes unanimously. Item number 5 is the 2023 Cal Home Program Grant Application. Councilman Flores asked that this be pulled for a report for the public's information. Staff report will be provided by Nick Ligori.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. The requested action for the council tonight is adoption of a resolution that will authorize staff to apply to the State of California Department of Housing and Community Development for the latest round 2023 Cal Home Program grant funds. The city is requesting in the grant $600,000. This money, if awarded, would be used exclusively for the city's ongoing owner-occupied rehabilitation program, which provides low and no interest loans and grants to income-qualified mobile home owners in the city in order for them to make improvements to their mobile homes that improve the health and safety of the occupants and also increase the general maintenance and upkeep of the units. The city has participated in 2 previous rounds of Cal Home funds in the past and was awarded those funds. However, we have gone through all of the reuse funds and there's no more funds available for this project. We believe that while the grant is competitive, we do have an edge because we are looking to apply it specifically to mobile homes, which is a incentive area for the state in this current round. So we request that the council adopt a resolution so we can move forward with the application. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Chris, did you have any comments?
No, just thank you for that report, Nick. And I wanted it pulled just so that the public has, some awareness of this program. We've had it before, and for you homeowners out there who are listening and who may qualify, if we do get this grant approved, just know that that is on the table. And it was mainly to, again, provide information for those homeowners who may qualify who've never heard of this program before. So again, thank you, Nick.
And we would request that even without this grant, the city still has funds available for this purpose for other types of home ownership. And so folks are welcome to stop by City Hall or email housing at cityofchino.org for more information.
Thank you, Nick. With that, we need a motion and a second to approve item number 5. It's a motion from Councilman Flores, second from Councilman Lucio, and the item passes unanimously. Next on the agenda under public hearings, item number 5, introduction of ordinance number 2023-001, ZOAPL 22-0101, introduction of this ordinance, proposed amendments to Title 20, which deals with zoning of the Chino Municipal Code. I'd first like to declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from Warren Morleone, our AICP city planner.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Staff is proposing its annual update to the city's zoning code. The proposed changes this year consist of modifications to several chapters to address issues staff has encountered over the last year, as well as to update the code to reflect changes that have been occurred with state law. The proposed code changes include modifying the residential daycare facility code requirements so all facilities are permitted by right in residential zones consistent with state law. Adding a small banquet fitness studio category to the code that would permit uses that offer one-on-one instruction or classes with a maximum of 20 persons by right in some commercial zones. Adding an adult daycare facility category to the code that allows the use in most commercial zones, subject to approval of a CUP. Modifying the code to also allow guns and ammunition sales in commercial service, business park, and light industrial zones, subject to an administrative permit. Adding a microbrewery and distillery category to the code that allows the use in certain commercial zones, subject to a CUP. And modifying the language for appeals in the code, so an appeal must be heard within 60 days or the next regularly scheduled Planning Commission or City Council meeting. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the changes on January 18th by a 5-0 vote. In conclusion, staff recommends that the City Council approve the introduction of ordinance number 2023-001 to be read by number and title only and waive further reading of the ordinance. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Warren. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on ordinance number 2023-001? Okay, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing. Any comments or questions from council? No? Okay, seeing none, then I would call for a motion in a second. It's a motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Councilman Flores. I'd like to ask Fred Galante to please read the ordinance title into the record.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council has before it ordinance number 2023-001 entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending selected provisions of the zoning code, Title 20 of the Municipal Code of the City of Chino, PL 22-0101, Zone Ordinance Amendment. And that's being read by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, and the item did pass unanimously. Next, under new business, final acceptance of public improvement site improvement, PL 13-0629. This is to accept the public improvements for USA Waste of California Incorporated compressed natural gas fueling station facility. Site approval PL 13-0629, located at 13821 Redwood Avenue as complete, and authorize release of the performance bond and initiate the warranty bond. Our staff report this evening will be provided by our Assistant City Engineer, Jesus Plasencia.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. On February 19, 2014, the Planning Commission conditionally approved site approval PL 13-0629, submitted by USA Waste of California for the construction of a compressed natural gas fueling facility located at 13821 Redwood Avenue. The conditions of approval require the developer to design and construct public improvements in accordance with the municipal code, but including but not limited to curb and gutter, sidewalk, drive approaches, and a street light along Redwood Avenue. The construction of these improvements necessitated a public improvement agreement and surety bonds, which were approved by the City Council on November 18, 2014. The conditions of approval also require the developer to annex the property into the city's landscape and lighting district, which was approved by the City Council on July 6, 2021. The public improvements required for this project were initially completed approximately 7 years ago. However, there were outstanding conditions of approval items that the developer had to complete prior to the project being closed out. This includes, but is not limited to, the previously mentioned annexation. In addition, some of the public improvements had to be reconstructed because they were non-compliant with accessibility requirements. City staff has determined that the public improvements are now substantially complete and comply with all applicable city standards and accessibility requirements. The developer has also paid all project-related fees and has provided the city with the security for a 1-year warranty period to ensure correction of any defects found during the warranty period. Therefore, city staff recommends that the council accept the public improvements as complete for the project and authorize the release of the performance bond and initiate the warranty bond. Please also note there are approximately another 18 development projects located in the general city that will be coming before city council sometime in the near future. These legacy projects are similar to this project in that the acceptance of improvements has been delayed due to pending items such as the reconstruction of improvements to comply with accessibility requirements. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jesus. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none. Council comments? Action? Need a motion and a second. Motion from Councilman Burton, second from Motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. And the item passes unanimously. Item number 12, approve construction contract increase for Sequel Contractors Incorporated, TR 171 and SD 162. This is to increase the contract to Sequel Contractors Incorporated, 2022-062, and approve change order number 4. Staff report this evening will be provided by our CIP Engineering Manager, Maria Frazier.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff and audience. The item for your consideration tonight is the approval of a contract increase for project TR 171 and SD 162. On July 6, 2021, City Council awarded a construction contract to Sequel Contractors, Inc., and authorized expenditures for the traffic signal modifications along Grand Avenue at Spectrum East and West, and street improvements for Grand Avenue from Pipeline to the west city limits, and Pipeline Avenue from Grand Avenue to Eucalyptus Avenue South. Throughout the project's construction, the city approved contract change orders to address various unforeseen fuel conditions and cost increases in material, equipment, and labor. The current change order number 4, will account for contract scope change, additional cost increase caused by the necessary suspension of the work to accommodate Caltrans permitting process and to prevent extra traffic burden during the busy holiday shopping season. Along Grand Avenue, just east of the northbound SR 71 on-ramp, the approved plans specify asphalt along the westbound lanes. This location is heavily traveled by large trucks, which causes heavy damage to the pavement, particularly when approaching and departing the Roswell Avenue intersection. Staff identified this area as an opportunity to explore the use of rigid pavement, in this case concrete, to extend the durability of the project. The staff met in the field and after evaluating the area, pursued geotechnical recommendations, and based on them, a segment at about 330 lineal feet of Grand Avenue westbound lanes 3 and 4 were rescoped to use concrete in lieu of paving. City staff requested pricing from the contractor and after negotiations, directed the contractor to proceed with the work immediately to avoid further increases. The work has been completed, and upon City Council's approval tonight, staff will process change order number 4. I would like to remark that the remaining contingency balance will be preserved for any other unforeseen work and final balancing quantities. I would also like to mention that this project is anticipated to be completed by the end of March. It is staff recommendations. The council approves the staff report with the recommendations indicated. This concludes my report, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Maria. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, I'll turn it over to council comments. Anyone have any comments?
I have a
Curtis?
question. I believe we discussed the truck routes at one time and possibly rerouting the truck routes. Is that still in the works? Are we thinking about doing that? And if so, are we going to take them off of Grand Avenue in that area between Highway 71 and Pipeline altogether to where we won't need to spend this amount of money in that roadway area if we reroute the trucks?
You want?
Mayor and council members, yes. So the answer is yes. We are looking at rerouting the truck traffic out of that area. The two lanes that we did the concrete work on, we would need them anyways, because there's still a lot of truck traffic that comes into the shopping center and leaves the shopping center. So it's good to have that concrete. Our plan is to probably replace the other two if we need to with concrete as well. We are looking at rerouting the trucks down towards further south to either Central, then Pine Avenue, once the connection is done, and Chino Hills Parkway. There's a study that we're conducting right now. We believe that we should be back to council within 3 or 4 months, the results of that study, and figure out how we would implement the removal of the trucks from this segment, which is from 71 all the way to Pipeline. We would like to remove the trucks from that segment because that's causing all of these issues with the pavement and obviously with traffic.
But as you mentioned, there's still going to be a certain amount of trucks up and down the street there servicing the shopping centers, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, but everybody else, the through traffic going into Riverside County, they're going to be rerouted south.
That is our plan, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Karen?
I thought, City Manager Rick, that was part of our general plan study as well, right? Isn't that being considered as part of the general plan update? Yeah. I still think we're going to have a lot of trucks there, Kurt, just because of the shopping center, so.
I agree.
Yeah.
We will. And the trucks also coming from Chino Hills delivering to the shops.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to get on and off the 71 at that location as well. So cements-wise, it will last a lot longer.
I like this project, Dahmer. I like the idea of us reinforcing this area. This is a heavily traveled area of our city. We want it to be nice for our shopping centers there and our residents. It's also, right there in front of a hospital and different food establishments. So anything that we can do to improve the lifespan and the traveling, the quality of the roads there, I think is a win for us. So thank you.
Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion and a second for approval. Motion from Councilman Flores, second from Councilperson Burton. Item passes unanimously. Item number 13, introduction of ordinance number 2023-004, claims against the city. This item is to approve the introduction of ordinance number 2023-004, an ordinance of the City of Chino amending section 3.80.020 of the Chino Municipal Code, claims against the city, delegation of authority. Staff report this evening is from our senior management analyst, Debbie Pacheco.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. The report I'm presenting tonight is for ordinance number 2023-4, which is being introduced to amend section 3.80.020 of the Chino Municipal Code, claims against the city, delegation of authority. My report tonight addresses a request to achieve consistency in the authority that designated management staff have for settling liability matters by making it equal to the amount of authority these same managers have for making purchases on behalf of the city. Specifically, the recommendation is that the amounts authorized in the city's purchasing ordinance match the amount of settlement authority granted to the city manager and the Director of Human Resources and Risk Management. Currently, the city manager can authorize a purchase for up to $50,000, but can enter into a settlement of only $25,000. Likewise, the Director of Human Resources and Risk Management has purchasing authority up to $10,000, but settlement authority is limited at $5,000. The purchasing ordinance, which was adopted by City Council in 2019, has kept pace with the economy, whereas the settlement authority has fallen behind. Aligning the amounts is a logical business practice and requires staff members to utilize the same conscious judgment and ethical behavior in settling claims as in authorizing purchases. Therefore, council is requested to authorize ordinance 2023-4, which will amend section 3.80.020 of the municipal code to reflect the recommended changes. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Debbie. Anyone in the audience want to address the council on this item? Seeing none, council comments? Curtis?
A question, I'm new on the council, but when it comes to going out and settling litigation in the field like that, is it a matter of protocol that we contact our city attorney first to make sure that we're dotting all the i's and crossing the t's before we do that?
If I may, the process generally will start with some negotiation, but as far as any settlement, when it's understood that the parties will accept any amount, I generally am asked to either draft the settlement agreement, or if it's an insurance company that is pursuing the claim, they generally have a form, so I work with them on that. But absolutely, before funds are paid, I want to make sure the city is released.
Great. Thank you very much.
Any other comments?
Just a question. The question I have is, I mean, I just want to understand, like, you know, just why as a city did we fall behind in this area, right? If you can answer that.
I suspect when we updated the purchasing code, which we did a while back, we just missed this part of it, and it hadn't been addressed. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just missed.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more questions or comments, I would entertain a motion in a second. Motion from Councilperson Burton, second from Councilperson Flores. Item passes unanimously. Oops. We have a first and a second. I'll ask our attorney to read the ordinance by.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe the title was actually read. That's why I was not very concerned. But before the council is ordinance number 2023-004, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino amending section 3.80.020 of the Chino Municipal Code, claims against the City of Chino. And that was read by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you.
And it did pass unanimously. Item number 14, introduction of ordinance number 2023-003, towing service regulations. This item is to approve this introduction, amending chapter 5.36 of the Chino Municipal Code relating to towing service regulations. Staff report this evening will be provided by our city attorney, Mr. Fred Galante.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The police department has analyzed its need for tow services in the city, and following that assessment, it was determined that 3 tow operators is really the appropriate number of service providers to meet the city's needs for tow services. So this proposed ordinance before you accomplishes several proposed changes to the municipal code. The first one being to set an actual number of tow operators at 3 to match the police department's assessment of its needs, while also providing some flexibility should the chief of police at any given time believe that additional services are required. So the language does afford the chiefs that discretion to increase the number. Additionally, the language at section 5.36.050 is currently very restrictive, so that any operator that has any employee or other member of its team that has been found to have been convicted of certain specified crimes that are listed in that section is entirely prohibited from participating as one of your potential service providers. The analysis was that was very restrictive. It could unduly penalize an operator if they just happen to have an employee or contract party that is providing services, or even one of their officers that had some history of one of those enumerated crimes. So the suggestion is to revise the ordinance so as to not disincentivize a tow operator from providing these opportunities for its employees to reintegrate into society and secure gainful employment. So the language is now being suggested to simply say that if any such person exists on staff, that person could not operate a tow vehicle for your city. So that provides some flexibility to pursue an operator that is otherwise well qualified. And the final proposed change is at section 5.36.130, where it currently specifies that storage fees collected through, by the police department are to be paid directly to the chief of police. And just to comport with the actual practices of the police department, we've clarified that to say that they're to be collected by the police department. So with that, that encompasses the scope of the changes, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the audience this evening on this ordinance? Okay, Chief, I do, or not Chief, but Fred, I do have a comment, and that is Section 3, subsection J. I know it's assumed that restricting these particular people from driving in the city of Chino, it's assumed it's city of Chino, but I would just like that added in there specifically, that they are not allowed to provide tow services in the city of Chino.
In the city of Chino, okay, I'm happy to add that.
Any comments or questions? Yes, Curtis?
I have a question about what goes into the selection process for a tow company when they want to be considered for a rotation.
Your ordinance actually provides some guidance, but I'm happy to defer to your chief.
Yeah, so they have to complete an application. This is assessed, I believe, every 3 years, and they submit an application. We review that. We're asking them to attest to these things. We don't actually. There's no background check. They're attesting to them, and obviously if there's any issues, and what we do is we've assessed them over the past 3 years. If there had been any issues with complaints from our community or from our officers of their service, then we would take that into consideration, whether they get renewed or not.
And during the course of their employment, if you will, with the city, if they break the contract, are we able just to dismiss them immediately based on the issue?
There certainly is due process. They're entitled to due process, and we have to go through a procedure to make that happen. But we've done that. We've put them on notice in the past to fix an issue, and each time that I think 1 or 2 times that I believe we've done that, they were able to address the issue, and we haven't had to pursue getting rid of them.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Chief, how many contractual towing service providers do we presently have?
We currently have 3, and that's what we've been operating for as long as I've been around, and we think that's a good number. As you know, 20 years ago, the laws related to towing vehicles were much different. We towed a lot more vehicles. Right now, on average, they're towing about 4 vehicles a day, so that's 1 vehicle per tow company, and is about average right now.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, then I would entertain a motion in a second. Motion from Councilman Burton, a second from Councilman Flores. Fred, would you like to read the ordinance?
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council has before it ordinance number 2023-003, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending Chapter 5.36, Towing Service Regulations of the Chino Municipal Code. And again, that's being read by title only and waiving further reading. Thank you.
And the item did pass unanimously. Next item on the agenda is mayor and council reports. So on my report, since our last council meeting, Wednesday, February 8th, I attended the mayor's prayer breakfast. Thursday, February 9th, the Omnitrans Administrative Committee and San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Transit Committee and Metro Valley Committee. Friday the 10th, attended the senior February birthday celebration along with former Councilman Walt Pocock and Community Services Commissioner Brendan Strong. Monday, February 13th, I met with several Chino residents regarding a housing issue. Tuesday, February 14th, I had my regular meeting with City Manager Reich, and I participated in a Zoom meeting along with other elected officials with Confire for a debriefing on the emergency medical services status. Wednesday, February 15th, along with Mayor Pro Tem Comstock and Council Members Flores and Burton, City Manager Reich, and other staff members, we attended the ribbon cutting of the new In-N-Out Processing and Distribution Center. That location will eventually employ over 600 people. It's a phenomenal facility, and we're very, very fortunate to have it in our community. It's a great addition to our industrial area. On Tuesday, February 21st, today, I participated in a Zoom meeting presented by the San Bernardino County and Riverside County chapters of the Building Industry Association to discuss the 2023 housing opportunities and obstacles. Now, the BIA is facing similar challenges that many other businesses are facing, such as rising costs and increasing labor costs in producing their product, which is housing, of course. They, of course, would like the cities to reduce our fees to increase their profit margin, which has decreased due to their rising costs. However, we need those fees in order to pay for our own costs that are incurred in supporting building new houses and providing services and infrastructure like impacted streets, water lines, and sewer lines that are needed to support these new houses. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's challenging times for them, challenging times for us. But I think the important thing is that we still all come to the table and try to work together to resolve these issues. Obviously, they have a profit margin that they want to make and they want to build houses. We obviously want quality and have to pay for the costs that are associated with that. And of course, the infrastructure that it takes to support the new homes that are coming into our communities. So I'm sure there's going to be many more meetings coming up. And that's all I have this evening. Mayor Pro Tem Comstock.
Thank you, Mayor. On February 8th, I attended the Chino Valley Fire Board meeting. It was nice to attend that meeting. I'm the new liaison to the board. I actually see one of the board members here tonight. Actually, a couple of them. There was Harvey Luth and Sarah Evanger here, so thank you for being here tonight as our liaisons. It was also nice to see Tom at his second meeting. I personally know every person on that board, Mayor, with the exception of 2 people, so it was a great meeting, so nice to attend. On February 13th, I attended my one-on-one meeting with the city manager. On February 15th, I also attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new In-N-Out facility. Mary, you are absolutely right. That is a beautiful facility, and not only will it employ 600 people in our community, but the representatives from In-N-Out were sharing that there's approximately 150 local members of our community that will actually work there. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal to see it in this present state, but it's also going to be phenomenal to see it when it's actually up and operating. And I learned something new on that tour, that not only will they process meat, but they'll also process the In-N-Out spread that they use on their burgers. And I didn't know that that is considered proprietary intellect, that they keep that recipe secret. So it was just a really neat day. And this is one of the facilities, first of its kind, that included a fitness center for the employees. It's actually quite impressive, quite frankly.
And mention the break room.
Oh, the break room is phenomenal. It had so many microwaves in there because of the amount of employees. Yes. Yeah, so people can get their food, and it was neat because they had all the In-N-Out soft drinks in there as well. So nice day, and they were very, very gracious host to us that day, including the tour. Later that same day, I attended a meeting with our city attorney, the city manager, and Councilmember Flores regarding the annual performance review of our city attorney, Mr. Galante. And of course, tonight's closed session with the rest of the city council prior to our meeting. I wish to express my sympathy to the family and extended friends and family members of the young 19-year-old lady, to the Rodriguez family who lost her life in that tragic collision this weekend at Park and Benson. I'm so sorry. I've been told that she was a Chino High School graduate, very, very well known in this community. She will be missed. So we will continue to keep that family in our thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. And certainly, last but not least, Mayor, I want to congratulate Deputy Chief Kevin Minson on his promotion. Kevin, I've watched your career from day one when you were a police cadet. You've done a great job in serving this city. I hope you know, not just myself, but how proud this entire council is of you and that promotion. It's well-deserved. And I know you're going to do a great job, not just in helping to lead the Chino Police Department, but being that second in command to Chief Simmons. So thank you and congratulations, and very well-deserved, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Burton.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 8th, I attended the mayor's prayer breakfast, obviously with the mayor and council member Flores. On the 13th, my one-on-one with city manager. On the 15th, I also attended the ribbon cutting for In-N-Out, the warehouse, and I can't say it enough. I mean, everybody's already stated how incredible the facility it is. I encourage everybody to drive out there and take a look at the building. The building is beautiful when you drive down there, and just the size of it. They're moving their operation, their warehouse operation, from Baldwin Park to Chino. And the place is massive. They have their regular warehouse. They'll process the meat. They'll store the buns and the lettuce and all the fixings down there as well. But also they have their truck yard down there where they fuel and wash and repair, as well as their cookout trucks. It's quite an operation. We had a tour of the facility. And again, I encourage you, if they do open up tours, you should go down and check it out, because it's awesome. And not only that, but they gave us a double-double.
Kurt, they did say they would be offering tours to school children there. So
Yeah, and
educational tours.
And if you work at In-N-Out down there, they give you a free burger for lunch every day with free, their free sodas. What a deal, I'm telling you. It's quality food, folks. That's right. On the 16th, I attended a tour with the city manager, Director Ligori, as well as Council Member Flores, the Chino Basin Water Conservation District tour that started up at San Antonio Dam, right at the base of Mount Baldy. And they took us and showed us how the water flows through the region, and it was amazing. I really learned a lot on that tour, and I appreciated all of the information that was provided. I later attended the Chino Valley Unified School District Board of Education meeting. The information they provide is outstanding, and I want to acknowledge President Shaw, who's out in the audience. Thank you for being here. She is our liaison for the school board. You're doing a great job, and I appreciate the things that you're doing over there. And that was it. And then I also wanted to congratulate Deputy Chief Kevin Menson on your promotion. I've known Kevin since he was a cadet, and he's risen through the ranks, similar to Chief Comstock, and he's on his way up. Kevin and I served together as detectives, and he just continued to, again, rise through the ranks. Kevin, I'm really proud of you. You've done a great job, and it is definitely well-deserved. And I'd like to just end my comments this evening on and wish my condolences to the family as well of the young lady that lost her life at Park and Benson the other evening. And it's just a tragic, tragic loss. And that's my report, Mayor.
Councilman Flores.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. On the 8th of February, I attended the mayor's prayer breakfast. On the 11th of February, I attended the Blue and Gold Troop 205 Scouts dinner. On the 14th, I attended the Citizens Advisory Committee to the CIM. On the 15th, I attended the Chino In-N-Out ribbon cutting as well. And I will say that our mayor and some of the council members up here are pretty modest, because when we were offered one double-double, they jumped at about 4 of them. And I said, whoa, 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 you guys need to
Who
slow
had
down.
multiple ones? Yeah. Christopher did.
Chris took advantage of that.
Yes.
On the 15th, that same day, I attended the attorney review meeting along with Mayor Pro Tem Karen Comstock. On the 16th, with Councilmember Burton, I attended the Groundwater Basin and Sustainability Tour. On the 18th, I attended the Senator Susan Rubio's 22nd District swearing-in ceremony over at Laverne University. And on the 20th, just a few days ago, it was President's Day, so just want to wish you all a happy belated President's Day. I got to say, these are some of my favorite days, because when I drive up and down Central Avenue, as many of you may know, we see our American flags, standing up tall, and I appreciate that. Last comments here. Just want to say congratulations to Seb Wellborn and our Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. Congratulations to all the work you guys are doing. And Deputy Chief Kevin Menton, I want to say I first met you when we were in the cadet program as well. And no, I'm kidding. I got to know you over the last couple of years, and I just want to say that I appreciate your leadership. And again, my condolences to the young lady who lost her life a couple of days ago. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilman Lucio.
Yes. On February 13th, I attended a meeting with the city manager. On that same day, I also attended a meeting with Supervisor Kurt Hagman. On the 14th, I attended the Chino's Institution for Men and the Chino's Institution for Women's Citizens Advisory Committee meeting. On the 14th, I attended a meeting with Threshold Aviation regarding some of the improvements that they would like to do to their facilities and some of the thoughts that they have as far as creating a new FBO and where they would like to build that. So then we went over some of those ideas that they have. On the 14th, I also attended a meeting with Sonia Shaw, school board president. We talked a little bit about some potential legislation that's going on with some vaccine mandates that they're trying to implement on I guess, grammar school kids. And then also, if Sonia, if you got the information, I'm being told that next week they're going to be doing some ribbon cutting for the gym for Mark Hargrove. I don't know if you have any information on that, or if it is going to be next week. Okay. I appreciate it. And then on the 17th, I attended the Masters Finals. 3 of our Chino High School kids are going off to Masters. It was held in Palm Springs. And so they'll be competing in Bakersfield, I believe, starting Thursday, and if they make it to Friday, and then obviously finals will be Saturday. On the 19th, I also attended the car show that was support for the Chino Pumas. It was at the shopping center located on Riverside and Mountain Avenue. And I also would like to, I'd like to congratulate Kevin for your promotion. Good job. Congratulations. I'd also like to express my condolences for the young lady that was 19 years old that lost her life, also on Benson. And I would like to end on a note that I'd like to congratulate my son for being the Masters champion. He'll be representing the Southern section as a number 1 or 2 seed going into the state tournament. So we look forward to that, and hopefully we'll be there till Saturday.
Terrific.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. City Manager Reich.
No report tonight, Mayor.
City Attorney Galante.
Thank you, Mayor. The only report I would give is I presented to the San Gabriel Valley several city council members. I understood that you were intending to participate, and the issue was on the California Voting Rights Act. And one of the topics of discussion was the impact that going to district elections has had on jurisdictions. There were some critical articles last year about just incumbents not being challenged, and they were then concerned about how that impacts jurisdictions and their ability to elect new council members, as well as obviously the law on redistricting. So I am happy to provide anyone a copy of that PowerPoint if interested. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Chief Simmons.
And Chief, I don't know if you've seen some of the proposed bills that are coming up this year, and if you have any comments or how you guys are going to target it, or maybe our legislative body here can help you out. But I'm being told that they're going to be proposing doing away with what they call some minor infractions, violations, and stopping the traffic stops due to just small traffic violations, among a couple other things that seem to be trying to just take away any type of probable cause to effectively do police work. I was just interested in what you guys in the police department, the Police Officers Association, have a plan to contact the legislators that are proposing these bills, and then maybe here at our level we can help you guys out, because this is ridiculous. It's starting to get more and more ridiculous what the Assembly and what the State Senate is trying to propose.
We're having our legislative committee meeting tomorrow, and we're going to be going over a lot of those laws.
Hopefully, is John Feldman still the legislative lobbyist
He
for Calchi?
Yeah, the California Police Chiefs Association has partnered up with the Sheriff's Association, and they've been very bold in opposing this legislation, and they have a slate of measures that they're working to actively bring forward to the legislation proactively, as well as to fight against anything that makes our communities less safe. And so they periodically share those updates with us, provide us with information, allow us to connect with our local elected officials. And when those times come up for votes, we actively do that. And certainly we appreciate the council's support. I want to thank Freddie Rodriguez. He's reached out to us for support on a bill he's working on right now regarding ghost guns. And, you know, as you know, the possession of an unserialized firearm is a felony, but the possession of a ghost gun is a misdemeanor. So being able to make that a felony would be helpful again. So we're going to write a letter of support for him in that. So yeah, and we'll share all that information with the council as well. And grateful for your continued support when it comes to those laws.
Well, I'll tell you, I really honestly think that it's time that council step up and be bold, very, very bold in this, because, you know, the governor is saving money by closing prisons and jails, but the cost to communities on allowing these criminals to be on the street is absolutely horrendous. So he may be saving money at a state level, but he certainly is costing our citizens and our communities a great deal of not just money, but a lot of grief. So I would really encourage all of our communities to rise up and be bold. We need to.
Yeah, but I'm very, very grateful for the elected officials that we have right now, and I think we're in a good spot. And I'll share some of that as I discuss some of our crime stats that we had from 2022.
It was actually a great article written by, I'm trying to think but it was in the Daily Bulletin. It was on Saturday's paper, and it was talking about the cost of the realigning of these laws, and the cost is the lives of several police officers as a result of early release. And I was really, really surprised that the paper had written that article, because, as you know, most papers are pretty liberal now. But to see it in the Daily Bulletin and then lay it out, everything that they've caused and all the lives that they've as a result of it. But I mean, some of these laws you can't do any jaywalking because they think it's racial profiling, because you can't stop a car because of tinted windows or a broken taillight or anything like that, because they think that is frivolous and you shouldn't be doing that. I mean, it's just taking any opportunity away from any criminal being stopped on the street and just letting people just continue to do and operate without being challenged by police officers.
Well, you know, actually, at that BIA thing that I listened to today, the state attorney that was talking, she actually stated that it is the state's goal to take away local control. The state wants to determine everything throughout the state without local officials having any say, and they're doing it little by little.
Certainly makes it challenging, but we're grateful for the support of this council and the support of this community that appreciates the work that the men and women of the Chino Police Department are doing. So thank you, and with that, I'll just jump into our 2022 annual crime stats. As we've been doing this for quite a few years now, where we share kind of what occurred over the past year for 2022. First thing I'd like to point out is our calls for service, and we had a significant increase in calls for service, 14% up from last year. As you see that large dip there in that top chart, that was, of course, during the peak of COVID. We had an unnatural drop, everybody at home. But even though calls for service went up 14%, our reports only went up 2%, and priority calls only went up 1%. So a lot of those are calls that we're able to handle at the lowest level. But as our community continues to grow, our calls for service will continue to go up. I'm very pleased with this statistic, and that's our violent crime stats. Violent crime is down 27%. We had a tremendous rise during COVID with violent crime. Many of that is related to aggravated assaults, related to domestic violence. We found when people were forced to be home, had to shelter in place, so to speak, our domestic violence crime went up. That's declined significantly. Assaults on officers, again, we had a spike during 2021, but that has declined. And I want to thank the council, because I think one of the reasons why this number is so low for us is because you provide us with the proper staffing to allow our officers to go out there and respond to calls with a partner. We don't send officers to in-progress calls by themselves, and having a partner there helps prevent violence against police officers.
And let me just say, Chief, part of that, I'm sure as well, is the training.
Absolutely.
That these officers go through. And I do not ever want to skimp on any cost to send our officers to this training, because in the long run, it's going to save lives. It's going to save a lot of money in the long run for us. So I appreciate that and what our department is doing with training in regards to our officers. So thank you for that.
And then property crime. So we did have a 11.5% increase in property crime. Auto theft is down, so that's a good thing. Burglary is starting to swing back up again. It was unnaturally low during COVID as people were at home, but it is creeping back up. But our largest increase is theft, and that is primarily related to catalytic converters. So we lose on average 1 catalytic converter a day. It's significant. We're working hard. We're following up on cases, and we're arresting people. We're also doing our etch and catch program. And in fact, I want to give a shout out to our city yard staff, specifically our acting lead equipment mechanic, Alex Banuelos, equipment mechanics, Humberto Gomez, Noah Moncayo, and then equipment mechanic A, Joshua Alvarado, who spent their Saturday here last weekend etching cars. We had 92 residents come in with their cars and get their license plate etched on that. And again, how that helps us is our officers are out there at 3 in the morning. They catch somebody through a traffic stop, and they have a catalytic converter in their car, and that has the license plate. We're able to track that back to that victim and get them to testify and obviously prosecute them. Without the victim, it's very difficult to prosecute. We do have the Muni Code that the council approved, making it a misdemeanor, but of course we want to make it a felony. We want to get these people. So we're having success with that program as well. Traffic collisions, and again, I want to give my condolences to the Amaya Rodriguez family for the passing of their daughter and friend and loved one. Traffic collisions have started to increase. We had, unlike many other communities, traffic collisions went down during COVID for us. In other places, they went up, but for us, they went down. But now, I think as people are commuting and going back, they're starting to come back up. And we're working hard to reduce that, and we reduce that through writing citations, through education, and through engineering. And that goes right into our traffic citations. Very proud of the 35% increase we've had with truck route citations, and that's due to the additional traffic officer the council provided for us. So we're doing significant there, and we're starting to increase our moving violations as well as our parking. We had slowed down with parking, especially during COVID when everybody was at home, and we're picking that back up and starting with our street sweeping as well. And then lastly, just kind of some of the force multipliers for us. What we like to do is what we call precision policing, is targeting the criminals that are actually committing the crimes. And one of the ways we're able to do that is through our real-time crime center and the implementation of our automated license plate reader system. Back in 2017, 2018, this council approved providing us with 36 automated license plate readers at 11 intersections. You've now allowed us to expand that to 130 license plate readers at 37 intersections, along with another 250 citywide traffic cameras that we utilize. And that has led to, in 2022 alone, 92 stolen vehicles that we recovered, 6 wanted felony vehicles recovered, and 95 arrests. What we found is a lot of those criminals who are coming into our city in stolen vehicles are in those stolen vehicles to hide their identity when they commit other crimes against our residents. So we're able to capture them before they commit those crimes and prosecute them for that. And then also, if we have a crime and we're able to follow up, and our real-time crime center analysts are doing a fantastic job. We have a crime that occurs at 3 in the morning. They go through those cameras and they find the vehicle. They're able to track them down, and then our investigators follow them to whatever city they go in. We find most of our arrests, 59% of our arrests that we make, are for non-city of Chino residents. They're people who are coming in from other communities to victimize ours, and that allows us to do that. So I want to thank you for your support of that program that has allowed us to catch those criminals. That's all I had today, but I'm welcome to answer any questions you might have related to our crime stats.
Curtis?
It doesn't have anything to do with the crime stats, I apologize, but I do want to mention, when I was at the school board meeting this last week, a citizen got up and addressed the Board of Education and basically was complimenting our school resource officers and the job that they continue to do at the schools, just how outstanding the relationship is, as well as the promptness and the just the availability that is given to the schools from our officers are not like any other. So I appreciate the work that they're doing out there, and if you can pass that along to your SROs. And you know, we've had this program going since 1993, and it's just continuing to be a success, and I just appreciate the work they're doing.
Thank you, and I want to reiterate that, and the reason it's a success is because the partnership we have with our Chino Valley Unified School Board. You know, they recognize that. We're not fighting against them or us or them against us. It's a true partnership. We both understand the value. Our officers are not there to be disciplinarians. They're there to make sure those students are safe and to provide social services as well. So thank you for that.
I think the other thing that's so important is for some kids, depending on how they're raised, without the availability of an officer for them to get to know, they're tainted against police, you know, due to family circumstances. And this gives them an opportunity to see an officer in a uniform as just a regular person, you know, that talks to them, cajoles with them, just like anybody else. And so I think it removes maybe some of that fear and creates a relationship where that student will have someone to go to if they're troubled with an item. Now, Curtis knows this firsthand since he was an SRO, but you know, we've been very, very blessed in being able to fund that program, and I think it's paid off just in ways you can't even count.
Absolutely.
It's great, Wes. You guys are doing phenomenal work. I was excited when you talked to me earlier before the meeting tonight about even bringing the DARE program back. I think it's wonderful for all of our school children to be actually touched in a positive way by the police department at every phase of their education, in elementary school, in junior high, and then again with the support of the SRO. I can't reiterate how important the SROs are to this, you know, not just the safety of our campuses, but also in just helping to make sure we want every student that enters that high school or that campus to be successful and graduate to the next grade. And I do know that our SROs do a lot of provided a lot of support, making sure that happens for those students, correcting students to get them back on the right track, because in the end, we want them to be successful.
Absolutely.
And the work of the Real-Time Crime Center, Wes, is phenomenal. And I know that you are leading the way as a police department in that we are on the map basically in the city of Chino. Other agencies are coming to us and looking at what the model that this council helped the police department build, and that's something to be very, very proud of. So thank you, Chief.
I appreciate that.
Some of the success is because we have officers that have been with us since they were cadets, just like Kevin, who raised up through the ranks like you did, Karen, and many of our other officers. So I think it really speaks well of a department that can keep their employees, keep the loyalty. And of course, out on patrol, this community inside and out, not like someone who's just been here a year or, brand new. So that speaks very, very well of the department as well.
And I do want to put Kevin on the spot. I do want to invite him up here really quick. As you mentioned, we recently promoted him to deputy chief, and I'm grateful to have him as a partner. As has been said, he's been here 26 years, started as a police cadet, but he's been 10 years on our command staff, helping to lead this organization. And a lot of this organization's success is because of Kevin's leadership, innovation, and passion for this community. So I wanted to give him a chance to address you as well.
Thank you. I just first like to thank the chief and retired Chief Comstock for both of your guys' your leadership and your guidance that you provided me throughout my career, and for council, Dr. Linda Rucker, city manager, and EMT for your support. Like it's been said, I've worked here for 26 years. I started here as a young 18-year-old police cadet, so I've grown up through this department. My wife and I, we purchased our first home here in the city. My wife still works she's a teacher here in the city, so we are extremely connected to this community. I'm extremely blessed for a couple things, and one is to have the opportunity to work alongside the great men and women of the Chino Police Department, and to have a front row seat to see the work that they do on a daily basis. Every night we get up in the morning, we read those logs and just some of the stuff that they were able to accomplish. And the second is just to have the opportunity to serve this community that has so much support for their police department. And we do not take that support for granted. So thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council, once again for your kind words and for your support.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Fire Deputy Chief Carlos Skibar. That's a hard act to follow, huh?
That's hard. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, staff, and community. As the Council is aware of the San Bernardino County opening up ambulance service through the competitive bid process for the first time, the Fire District is heavily involved along with other fire agencies and cities through ConFire JPA to offer a competitive bid. The ambulance transport RFP's deadline is March 23rd with a notice of award on May 18th. The district is hopeful to see better transport services for the community. Again, we'd like to thank the Council and City Manager Dr. Reich for your support. The Fire District is gearing up for the coming storm this week. Residents needing sandbags can go to Fire Station 61 on Schaefer Avenue, Fire Station 67 on Ross and Riverside, or Fire Station 63 off of Kimball Avenue. Residents are allowed 25 sandbags per household. For more information on station addresses, please access our website at www.cvifd.org. We look forward to spending time and mentoring our future leaders tomorrow at the Student Government Day at the Council Chambers, and we will discuss how change is inevitable, but growth is optional with our student fire chief. Thank you again for the many community support and supporting council's city staff, partner agencies who attempt to make excellence a habit. And again, finally, I'd like to congratulate Deputy Chief Kevin Menson on his promotion, and fire service tradition is he buys ice cream. So sometime this week I'll be cashing in on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. And with that, we are going to adjourn to our regular meeting, which will be held on Tuesday, March 7th at 7 o'clock with closed session starting at 6 if necessary. We are adjourned.